Hey there, everybody. I'm Sara Wiseman, and today we're going to talk about body shame. And we're going to talk about how you can release the 7 wounds that are involved with body shaming. So, a lot of us suffer from body shame. It's really prevalent in our culture. And yet, from a spiritual perspective, it doesn't really make sense, does it? I mean, our body is our physical container, it's where we live. And without our bodies, we couldn't exist, we couldn't live, we wouldn't be alive, and we couldn't experience all the wonderful physical things that are a part of this earth life. So, when we have feelings about our body, what we don't like, what we're embarrassed by our body size or shape, or we don't feel like our bodies are good enough, whenever we have body shame, it's something we're called to look at, figure out, and eventually come to peace with. Accepting our body, this unique container that we've been literally born into, is a part of what we're here to learn as souls. Okay, of course, you can change your appearance with diet or exercise or hair or makeup or fashion or plastic surgery. And, lots of people do this very successfully. But if you don't get to the core issue of why you have body shame, it's just really masking the problem. Instead of getting to the root of how to love the container we're in, um, we sort of are just masking the problem. And when we're masking the problem, we're spiritually stuck. So instead of trying another diet or buying more clothes or whatever it is that lots of us do, we just can work to get to the root of the problem. We can start to overcome body shame by looking at the 7 most common reasons people don't like their bodies, the 7 reasons people feel ashamed of their physical selves. So let's take a look at these 7 ways we experience body shame. So, first of all, maybe we don't like our size or shape. Next, maybe we don't like our appearance. We don't just like how we show up to the world. We are hiding out from past wounds. We are not fully inhabiting our sexuality. We are fighting against aging. We have trauma that needs integrating. And last, we are fighting against addictions. So let's take a look at each of these and see what resonates most for you. So, if you don't like your size or your shape, it's really useful to explore why. Now, every time and place and culture has its own rules about the desirability of, say, thin and small, or short and tall, or frail and muscular, and so on. And the thing is, not only are these views culturally and time specific, they're also outdated and shallow. Our body isn't random, it's chosen by our soul. And so when we look at our body as something that our soul has chosen to be our perfect physical companion, everything changes. Now, a long time ago, I remember a time I was around 12. I went swimming at the lake with some friends. It was Lake Washington up in Seattle area. And the place we went to, there was this giant high dive, and you climbed up this big ladder onto this platform, and then you had to leap into the lake. Very exciting, thrilling. It was like the highlight of summer. And I remember climbing up, and up on the platform, there were probably 6 other kids up there, and all of them were just a little bit older than me. And I just looked at them, their sleek, skinny teenage bodies, and I felt so deeply ashamed of my own chubby, solid, awkward preteen body. And I leapt off the high dive into the lake, and I just felt like I wanted to be swallowed up by the dark water. And this shame, this embarrassment, this self-consciousness about my 12-year-old body, it was all in my head. Nobody else gave a second thought about my body shape and size except me at that time. This is this memory from a long time ago, right? And I've moved forward from feeling that one kind of body is better than another, that one shape or size is better. I mean, we come in all shapes and sizes. But the way we compare and contrast, especially when we're young and vulnerable, these kind of beliefs stay with us. So we have to unlearn what is false and relearn what is real. Again, we come in all shapes and sizes. There's no one desirable shape or size. So learning to love your shape and size, and in the process to love yourself, is part of this task of overcoming body shame. Next, loving how you show up in the world. So what we wear, how we dress, how we style our hair, the makeup we do or don't wear, all of these are ways of masking our true selves. And we're kind of creating an archetype or a projection or a mask or an armor that protects the inner core of who we are. Now, sometimes archetypes help us hide our true selves, and sometimes archetypes help us celebrate who we are. They help us show up as our true selves. And at different times in our lives, we're going to shift our archetypes. We're going to choose different things to wear, different ways of presenting our hair or makeup, whatever. Body shame happens when who you are is not being expressed by your archetype, your outer image. However, you're presenting yourself to the world with clothing, makeup, hair, tattoos, piercings, all of this creates your archetype. So, who do you need to be? What archetype do you need to project so you are moving authentically in the world? So, your outer matches your inner. Third, loving your wounded body is a way of taking back yourself to yourself. It's like coming out of hiding and knowing that you're safe. So many of us have wounded bodies when we've been emotionally, physically, energetically, um, sexually wounded by others. So if someone disrespects your body, it's hard to feel safe again. If someone harms your body, it's hard to feel safe again. If someone sexualizes your body, it's hard to feel safe again. So if we were abused as children or adults, in all the ways this can happen, we feel unsafe. And therefore, our body, perfect soul companion that it is, begins to make changes so that our safety will be assured. And this is why it's really common for our body to protect us with extra weight or make other changes to our physical self so that we feel safer in our container. And over time, we replace the body that was once innocent and free with a body that has armored up to protect us. So next, loving your sexuality allows you to be authentic. So he, she, they, thank goodness we're finally becoming conscious that gender is not either or. If you've been biologically assigned to a gender that doesn't fit you, you may have grown up feeling ashamed of your body or that you don't fit. The human container you're in doesn't match how you feel. So, good news is the world is rapidly evolving. So, there's much more support for embracing your orientation, your identity, your expression as you determine it to be. And of course, in reality, the soul has no gender. A new acceptance of all expressions is one of the ways we are becoming more evolved. We understand things are not polarized, but are unique. Your own identity and way of being in the world is, of course, up to you. And as you do the deep work of opening up to your unique self, you also begin to inhabit who you truly are. Loving your changes is about self-acceptance. So we're living beings, we're born, we grow, eventually we die. In the middle, we age. We cannot stop this process. Mortality is non-negotiable. So when we find ourselves being ashamed of changing through pregnancy or menopause or aging, we have this misbelief that we can stop time, yet we cannot stop our bodies from moving through the states of infant, child, teen, young adult, pregnant perhaps, midlife, menopause or andropause, senior, elder. So at each of these stages, our bodies will be different and we'll be experiencing very different relationships and feelings about our bodies. So the point here is to love yourself as you are. When you're 18, you may feel unhappy with your body, but when you're 28, you'll recall that 18-year-old body with joy. When you're 58, your 28-year-old body will seem like some kind of magical dream of strength and beauty. And when you're 88, 58 is going to seem like a miracle. So overcoming body shame and healing body shame means accepting the reality of aging. To accept yourself fully means to accept yourself exactly as you are now. Number 6, sometimes our bodies experience trauma such as accidents or illnesses that change our bodies permanently. We may have scars or weaknesses or disabilities or diseases or surgeries. So whenever we have trauma, it's almost always a sign of spiritual passage that we're working through. The accident that opens us or the illness that awakens us. And we're changed forever by this event in our life. So releasing the trauma and accepting the body as it is now, no longer perfect, but still whole and beautiful, is an act of courage. Loving our scars and the grace they bring to us are ways we can have compassion for ourselves in our physical container. And then number 7, our bodies are naturally and easily addicted. Bodies love to enjoy, and many of the things that are very enjoyable are not good for us. We may desire alcohol and drugs and food and smoking, things that turn on the pleasure centers, but that are toxic by nature. And the body wants to enjoy, even if the enjoyment isn't healthy. So the key here is to understand that it's not a flaw or a fault or a shame. It's just your body being a body trying to feel differently than it does. And then accepting this, again, without shame and working to train your body to have other things to enjoy, experiences that aren't harmful or toxic. Accept that your body likes addictive things because your body likes to feel good, and then work to provide other experiences that are more supportive. As a soul, you have been gifted this one unique body for this lifetime. You can learn to heal the 7 wounds and trust that your body, exactly as it is now, no changes needed, is the body that is the perfect companion for you in this lifetime. We are working on this in the course that I have, the Body Shame Project, Release the 7 Wounds. You can find it, go to sarawiseman.com and then go to courses and then go to the Body Shame Project. Lots and lots of resources for you guys. Hope that you'll visit me and look forward to working with you. Thanks.